And starting to the top left, we have in yellow our Terran player, of course, for LGIM with a 1-0 lead. It is
LGIM YoDa.
There he is. His opponent to the bottom right down in the series, the wild card Protoss from FXO. He is.
FXO tier.
Don't shed any tears just yet.
No, you shouldn't. This is one of those guys that can always bounce back, and he's a strong player. His DTs were early scouted, a brilliant scan, expecting it, calling it, watching at the right moment, the right position in the map, dropping the scan, making sure that the initial DT didn't do too much damage. But then later on, Tier still made this kind of work.
Yeah.
Baiting a lot of scans, killing a few units there.
He took a bad situation with DTs, a cost inefficient situation, and made it more efficient.
Blocked the third base, forced another scan. Was really well done.
Killed a lot of units, forced a lot of stims.
But the pace of the second game is definitely going to be a little bit different, with YoDa now going straight for gas.
And I don't blame him, man. This is a tough map for late game Terran versus Protoss. Like I said, it's all about the terrain, but if the Protoss sees where you're coming from, it's really easy for the Protoss to take a good engagement on this map with all the choke points, with Colossi. And YoDa, I think what we may see from him is that Hellion play, because when you're ahead in the series, go for a build like that, it's aggressive. Ooh, is he going to proxy? It looks very likely, unless he thinks his opponent's spawn location is there, which I highly doubt. And it's kind of a weird place for his SCV to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that is still closer to Tier's base, but there are maybe a few better locations to proxy. And a few better timings as well. That's a bit early for that SCV.
I think he's going to proxy.
I think he definitely will.
And here we go.
There's the factory.
Factory dropped at 100. And there is no way for him to scout it. Here comes the Marine trying to chase the probe away successfully.
That was weird, by the way. The probe didn't activate the tower.
You sure? I could have sworn he saw the Marine and then moved back.
Oh, okay, maybe you're right. On my screen, didn't look like he did, but it might have been bugged out for a second. It's a special watchtower on this map, by the way, for those of you guys who don't know. It disappears after 6 minutes. See, the probe didn't activate the tower. Oh, okay, it activates it on the map, but the animation for the watchtower doesn't work. Okay, that's why I was like, I'm not crazy, I swear. I promise.
Now I was actually checking the minimap, that's why I saw it. I didn't focus on the actual screen.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, this factory is probably not going to be scouted. This Tier is taking the direct approach to scouting.
And starting here, so... and bye-bye probe. Okay, so no scouting information for Tier. Tier doesn't know anything at all. He only knows on the low ground, no command center just yet. He didn't see what was going on in the base earlier, so at this point he kind of has to take an educated guess. Yeah,
at this point it's hard for him to assume there's a command center even without seeing anything on the low ground, because he's like, well, you probably would have had it close enough to where I would have seen it with my probe if he did have a command center.
And he goes for the gates before he goes into the Robo now, and that's really a smart choice. This will enable him to warp the additional units in that he needs to defend against this. We've seen sick defense today by YoDa against Reality, making this happen. Now we have the same strategy, very similar one at least. We have the Marines, we have the Hellions, and we have the Medivac. Let's see how Tier is going to hold up in the comparison to YoDa's defense.
He's just going to try to scout these Marines. He does see them with his Stalker. Now he knows if the Marines will continue the attack or not. And if the Stalker can buy a lot of time for the Marines are not going to be as big of a threat as the drop itself is going to be. He's making multiple sentries here. Warp Gate Research is almost done. He's going to have 3 rounds of Warp Ends. What is he going to pick? That's really important here. Nice micro on this Stalker. This is so important to be able to not only pick off the Marines, but to slow them down, damage them a little bit, so when they come in for the attack, they're a little bit weaker.
He doesn't see the Medivac. He has no clue.
By the way, this Medivac has an SCV on auto repair inside of it, so anytime he puts the Hellions back inside of the Medivac, the SCV can actually repair.
Now he sees it. Now he goes in. Here come those Hellions though. And how many probes will he get? Takes down 2 right away. Nice block with the probes. Really nice micro. Takes down the second Hellion. No problem at all. Gets a couple of kills. 4 in total. Not enough to make up for the Hellions lost.
Yeah, and you know, with the Marines not able to even participate, he catches the Medivac, and Tier could just go for a counterattack now. There's a bunker being started for YoDa, but he rallies to start it anyways. He hasn't started yet. His starport and factory in the air. No more production coming out of those buildings. YoDa's in trouble, man.
Turning on the boss mode here. Really well done. He knows what's coming. Last second, his spider sense tingling, moving in with the stalkers, taking out the Hellions. Nice block with the probes as well. That was what I liked the most, that he actually pulled those few probes into the gap and then put them on hold position, blocking the Hellions, taking them down. And now we don't even have the bunker done just yet. He will most likely complete it, but all of those Marines are already gone. GG! Tia, look at that guy.
You know, I feel like there are two critical things. The first is the one that you mentioned about the probe block and that reaction time, that spider sense. The second one is being able to deny those Marines. If the Marines are in the natural, killing your probes there while you're trying to defend against the Hellions, you find yourself in a very much more difficult, much more dangerous situation. But, you know, the way he handled that, he was so cool and collected. He kept those Marines at bay with the Stalker. Yeah. And we're going to Icarus now. We're going to game number 3.
Game number 3 it is. YoDa versus Tia, and Tia's pretty happy about that, whereas you can see YoDa thinking about the last game, be like, that didn't work too well. What am I going to do in game number 3?
Tia talking to his coach a little bit here. You know, he has that look on his face like, yeah, I know it didn't quite go as I planned, but I'm feeling okay. The coach is giving him some advice, some words here. And the FXO people just leaving him alone, leaving Tia alone.
We talked a little bit to Gumiho, but now I'm excited for this game. This is going to be good. This is going to be really good. Tia is definitely in a position where he can take this. Icarus is going to be in the next map, and let's see what YoDa has planned for map number 3. His plan on the second map didn't go too well. Game 3 is live, ladies and gentlemen. The last game of this first day of the first round of the GSL Code A. This is Tia versus YoDa, brought to you by Carl and Wolf.